What is going on, y'all? KM Best here. This deck has been experiencing a renaissance at High Infinite, or should I say, a Mill-Naissance? No. I swear it's actually good. Please don't judge me by the world's worst portmanteau. This is actually a mill deck that works. And the reason that it works is it is so much farther from actually being a mill deck than it ever has been in the past. The best way to think about this deck is as a curve out mid-range style deck that as a bonus gets to apply pressure to your opponent's decks and rule out certain outs that they could possibly have, either because you cabled them or Yondu'd them or Baron Zemo'd them or got them out of the deck some other way. This is all really about trying to be a good deck with decent power and using the minor disruption that you are able to have in order to make more informed decisions. But to be clear, what this deck actually is not a mill deck. It is one of the strongest Iron Patriot decks in the entire game. You have two incredible follow-ups to Iron Patriot in the form of Baron Zemo and Gladiator. You can make cards that are great follow-ups to Iron Patriot with the Hood. You are also able to double up the effectiveness of your Iron Patriot by using Misery, getting multiple Iron Patriot triggers. Misery is probably the real star of this deck, discounting Death, doubling up on Yondu Cable, doubling up on Iron Patriot, doubling up on the Hood. That kind of stuff is what you really want to be doing, and that is where the power of the deck comes from. I know this is a mill deck, quote unquote, but the thing that has made it a good deck is not the mill part. That's cool. It gives you some reasonable outs when you feel like playing against combo decks. This deck is better just by virtue of sometimes randomly blowing something up that is important into combo decks than other decks of this nature, but that's not why we're doing it. We're doing it because it's a very consistent, straightforward, powerful game plan with a lot of flexibility and not as many punishes for not perfectly curving out like there are in a Wiccan deck, and not as much reliance on individual specific cards having to happen very early like in decks like Move Bounce. The deck is good, has a naturally slightly better than average for a mid-range deck matchup into every combo deck because sometimes you will just get them, and those matchups are typically so unwinnable otherwise that having the ability to just randomly get them is valuable. But what's really going on here is Mill finally has enough cards to be a star. Misery and Iron Patriot, these cards are stars. Doubling up on them is phenomenal. Getting Death in your mid-range deck is so sickeningly good. There are so many decks that look like this and play similar to this, but they don't have access to a free 12 power, and you do. So this is the list, and it is probably the first time in like a year, maybe ever, that I'm gonna sit here and look at you and say, hey, Mill is good. Granted, it is good because it is the least focused on Mill it has ever been. There are too many good cards in here for this to actually be a Mill deck. But it is a mill deck. You're playing Zemo, you're playing Yondu, you're playing Cable, you're trying to do that. It's just that those cards are all actually kind of decent, with the obvious exception of Yondu at this point. The Hood is excellent in a bunch of different contexts here. The first one is just, this is a guy that makes a 1/6. Making a 1/6 is great with your Iron Patriot. Repeating this with a Misery is obviously phenomenal because getting multiple 1/6s is really good. But it's also a guy that is one cost, that dies to Killmonger, that discounts your Death, that is able to sort of exist until you need to either reuse it, things like that. This is a very, very good card. I think everyone knows that at this point, but the overlap with Iron Patriot specifically is such that it's like, what is your opponent even supposed to do if you play a Hood on one lane, Iron Patriot in another? They know you're going to drop a 1/6 into that Iron Patriot lane at least, and that is just a really difficult thing for them to deal with. It should come to us as a surprise to nobody that Yondu is still a card I'm not very high on. This card is not doing a bunch of amazing stuff most of the time. It's allowing your stuff to get a little bit better. Blowing up bad hits for things like Cable and Baron Zemo is relevant, and you will be able to put them in a situation when you're doing things like Yondu into Cable, and then you have a Misery to go there as well. You will be able to get rid of 4 cards, like they're not going to be drawing cards for the last turn of the game. That stuff will matter. You will be able to do things with that. It's not the greatest. And I think Yondu's specific text limiting him to small cards makes me wonder exactly how good he even is. I would be much happier with this card if it was still hitting random cards. However, it's just good enough in terms of the level of disruption you need to justify itself existing in this deck. It costs 1, it dies to Killmonger, it has a reasonable thing that gets repeated when you are able to misery it. It's not the greatest, but it's good enough. And I think, really, if we didn't play Yondu, we wouldn't be able to call ourselves a mill deck at all. Cable's just a good card right now. When so many decks are these, like, vaguely interchangeable mid-range piles, drawing a card from your opponent's deck is just good. 2-3 draw a card, you're happy to do that. The fact that it's actually taking the card out of their deck, and that is something you can index for in the way you build this deck, is relevant and important. You are able to be a mill deck. There were games where I got it to a point where my opponents weren't drawing cards later in the game, and I knew what I had and had not to play around. That's good. Using the word had not in that context, not good. Bad grammar, but what can you do? This is a strong card that already goes with what we're trying to do. The metagame has gotten more and more favorable to Cable over time, to the point that I think everyone recognizes that this is just one of the best 2-drops in the game. It's already just a good card, and the fact that it goes with our mill stuff, that's a bonus, not necessarily a reason to run Cable. We run Cable because he's a good card. Fenris Wolf is pretty solid here. Like, we're still a Gladiator Shang-Chi deck. Yondu is destroying stuff. That is a relevant thing. It's just like Yondu's always destroying the smallest stuff. Shang-Chi really needs to like have targets to actually be good, and there aren't a ton of targets in this metagame. And Gladiator's usually only going to get you something that's pretty small, so it's not like it's the greatest thing to ever exist in this deck. Fenris Wolf is actually like, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but it is by far worse than its other counterpart at the 2-drop slot, Iron Patriot. Because of the Hood, Baron Zemo, and Gladiator, you are probably the best deck at making Iron Patriot actually happen. Because of Misery, you are an excellent deck at doubling up on Iron Patriot. This is actually, I think, the major reason why this deck makes sense right now. It is just phenomenal at winning, contesting, and repeating Iron Patriot lanes. It marries that with the disruption of Mill to give you a better chance in a combo decks than other Iron Patriot decks, and so you end up with a deck that is absolutely bonkers good at being an Iron Patriot deck, and sometimes just randomly beats the combo decks that Iron Patriot doesn't want to see. That's a very valuable position to occupy in the metagame. Killmonger as a method of discounting death is an obvious synergy here. What this card also does between Killmonger and Misery means that you have a very, very, very hard to lose matchup into Clog. A bunch of weird stuff has to happen for that matchup to ever come close to being losable for you because of your ability to fully interfere with everything they're trying to do, as long as you have either one of those cards. Killmonger is also excellent at dealing with, depending on timing, various bounce decks. A lot of bounce decks are going to be relying on 1-drops, whether those be Rocket Raccoon or Human Torch. If you're able to time it properly, you can actually set up situations where Killmonger is, on the final turn of the game, blowing something big up. You can also set up situations where before they bounce the stuff, you are able to blow it up. Both of those are things you are able to play for, and it's not the end of the world when you can't do it, but it does give you, again, just a little bit more leeway into decks that are typically good into decks that look like this. Red Guardian is a phenomenal tech card who is good against any number of ridiculous things right now. Just a great card. There is absolutely nothing bad I can ever say about this guy. He just rocks. There's an interesting thing that'll happen when you have like Yondu, Cable, Zemo openings, where it's like you want to have some way of repeating that in order to get more big stuff off the Zemo, and you can't really stick them all in the same lane if you want to misery it. So sometimes it's like Yondu in one lane, Cable in another, Zemo the Yondu lane, misery there. Like, that kind of stuff can work. There's some really interesting stuff that this card does, but I think fundamentally the reason it makes sense in this deck is the card is a 3/5. That's really as simple as it gets. This is a 3/5 that gets something that is bigger than that. So it's also going to be the only thing realistically that can even come close to contesting a Gladiator's 3/8 on an Iron Patriot lane. In other words, you have the best Iron Patriot card and then also probably the second best Iron Patriot card. Between this and Gladiator, you are the Iron Patriot lane winner. You like winning Iron Patriot lanes, you probably like playing Gladiator. He is extremely good, and you are also a Shang-Chi Fenris Wolf deck in the event that whatever he's pulling is not something that he can deal with on his own. Being a Shang-Chi Fenris Wolf deck allows you to turn what is normally a terrible downside into a very powerful upside by blowing that card up and then getting it on your side. Usually, that's just about as good as getting an Iron Patriot discount anyway. I like having Shang-Chi as an option. I think of him as sort of part and parcel of the package that is Fenris Wolf and Gladiator and Shang-Chi. He often gets stuff that is able to hit like Yondu, things of that nature. But, and I do think this is important, the guy is not the most reliable right now. There's not a lot of good Shang-Chi targets running around. There's some, but as far as good Shang-Chi metas go, I don't think we're in one. And I do think that we're kind of priced into including this guy. I think we kind of have to play him. And so that puts me in an awkward spot where it's like, of all the things I've talked about that make this deck well-positioned, there are a lot of them. This is one in which I think the deck is relatively poorly positioned in that it's priced into being a Shang deck. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, there's a lot of things that can go right for this, but it's very hit or miss right now because of the way in which the metagame is. Misery is a star here. We are definitely in the Misery business. This is probably the best card in the deck on balance. Repeat your Iron Patriot, repeat your Hood, repeat your Mill stuff. All of that stuff is really strong to do. If you can set it up right, you can repeat multiple of those. Extremely, extremely powerful card. Doubling up Iron Patriots and Hoods are your highest power output stuff, but there's worlds in which you're meant to just double up on other stuff as well. It's a very, very, very powerful card, and that is to say nothing of the fact that it gets kills on the board for death. Death is also a little bit hit or miss, but that's okay. She's allowed to be hit or miss because when she hits, she is so far and away the best thing that a mid-range deck can be doing that it's not even funny. This card is amazing at winning mid-range mirrors. Not only are you a great Iron Patriot into Iron Patriot decks, you are also a great deck at being over the top of those decks no matter what because of the way death works. This is a card that gives you a dimension of verticality that other mid-range decks struggle to reach without Iron Patriot, and you are very good at denying them that Iron Patriot. In other words, this is what makes you be a mid-range deck that can beat other mid-range decks. She is excellent at her job. All right, y'all, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoy the Mill-Naissance, and I hope you maybe have a better pun for that. I thought about it for like 2 seconds and then just went with it. And then after I said it, I was like, wow, that's terrible, but I'm just going to run with it and see what happens. If you have a better one, you know, the Millvolution, the French Mill. No, I got nothing. Sorry. I thought I could do something with French and then Mill meaning 1,000. I didn't get anywhere. Anyway, we're going to cut into the gameplay before I embarrass myself any further. Thank you so much for watching. I'm KM Best, and you've been Phenomena Mill. Play the other card. Devastating. So I have both Killmonger and Misery that could potentially free up a Wrath here. I like that. Whoa. Okay. Oh, shit. Wait, what does this mean? What the hell is happening? We beat Task if we play to beat Task. But if it's Zola... Ugh. But, like, we have to... Like, we don't actually... Like, it's Task or Zola, right? So it's like, where are we putting the power? I'm so scared. Oh, fuck. Okay, I guess we win. They went for the Zola. I played around the other one. I played around not Zola, but it ended up playing around most Zola outcomes anyway. Should have Eliath last turn. It's possible. Anyway, the only way we don't win there is they play Zola and it hits Black Panther. Whatever you're talking about, you're wrong and dumb. You can use Shang-Chi and Wolf to get death. If I knew where they would play it, which I didn't. It's not magic, my dude. I think I'm fine with playing a Misery here, especially if they pull the Hood. If they pull the Yondu, I'm not as happy. Shang-Chi, I'm already getting a 10 off of this. Arrow? Where can they play Arrow? Magneto? Where can they play Magneto? Do we beat Heim? No. Holy shit. Wait, do we beat Heim? Oh, we do. Well, that's nice. I was like, we didn't beat that, but we actually just always beat that. They just Heimdalled into not ever having a chance. Yes, we do. Shit. Iron Patriot. Hawkeye. Oh, that is fascinating. Misery left makes death free, yeah. I mean, does this do it? Who the hell knows? Gore, Iron Man? Yeah, there's a bunch of shit that's possible here. Get out of here, Gore. It's a big guy, but he's gone as fuck. Heyo. El random generated cannonballo over here. Okay, I mean, I'm into Iron Patriot, Baron Zemo Misery. That seems compelling to me. Iron Patriot. Leech. Jeez. Wasp. Holy shit. And I just hold here. Actually, they can't Shang-Chi the middle. There's no possible Shanger Banger in the middle. And they can't win the middle with their death either. So I don't think it's possible for us to lose the middle. Doesn't seem possible. Our goal here was just, I'm assuming there's some sort of clog deck because of the everything they've done. Sure, fair enough. Okay, I assumed incorrectly about the clog stuff. I guess. My bad. Oh, but we're turning the Patriot off. That guy is just simply not happening. Ooh! Damn, imagine they had a Patriot. Imagine they had an active Patriot, they would have fucking killed me. Holy shit. That's horrifying. Boy, that is the freest Mockingbird I've ever seen in my life. Fair enough. Okay, don't really know what's going on here. There goes a reality stone. Negative gore is definitely scary. Yes. Okay. I guess. 7 death. Alright. I guess. Surely I don't die here. Whew. You're level 18 now. You turn the game off and sleep. I don't think I lose many. But that was certainly a game of Marvel Snap. It definitely was. We definitely played a game of Marvel Snap. Out of all the games of Marvel Snap, that was definitely one of them. It really was. Part of me wants to just do this and then like slam the demons down there and just be like, it's gonna be fine. Best Patriot deck, skip out on him and Moonstone Victoria, so I don't know where to slot him in. I wish I knew. Damn, my Yondu goes away. My Cable goes away, but I've already got all the good cards. Ow, holy fuck. Huh. So however free, I mean, like, their death already being on the board is kind of the only saving grace we have here, is that we have this Death Shang thing going for us. Oh my god! Well... Oh, that's very nice. I would expect them to do some sort of Killmonger type play if they're going to stay in this game at all. But I'd really just expect them to lose. Can you... Oh my god. Never mind, I guess I shouldn't... I was thinking about snapping. I guess I'm a fucking idiot. There's the Killmonger. There's all the stuff it doesn't kill. Oh, my bad. Oh my god, I need to remember to mute everybody. Yeah, I mean, we kind of figured there was a Killmonger involved here. We kind of had a pretty good read on there being a Killmonger involved here. I think I could have gotten 2 extra cubes out of that, though, right? Ooh, yeah. Gimme. Iron Patriot, dead. Lizard, dead. Could have went crazy with Fenris Red Hulk. How do you mean? My message explained it. T5 Red Hulk and activate to get a second Red Hulk. Oh, I see what you're saying. Because it's a Frigga. Yeah, I'm with it. Zemo happens one more time, though, and it gets Red Guardian or Gladiator. I get the last card in their deck. Oh, you're right, it won't do anything. Holy shit. Malekith for what's his face? Malekith for Gladiator. That's Lizard. So if they have Hazmat... Nine plus 8, I'll still win the left. Lazard. Coolio. This is really good for us if we draw our Shang-Chi. It is super ass bad if we do not. Yeah, I'm just gonna draw it. You feel me? Oh, I'm glad that dies. Surely this time, you know? Go like this. Assuming they're gonna fill up that. We assumed wrong. Wait. Did we assume right? Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Killmonger! Woo! Got there. Got there.